Hi friends, today I will lend my opinion regarding encounters and extrajudicial killings. There are two types of punishments, or rather, I would like to say that when the court finds the accused guilty of an offense, then obviously there is a process that the investigation will be done, inquiry will be held, trial will be conducted, evidence will be taken, argument will be made, accused shall be heard, victim shall be heard, and then the final judgment will be pronounced in an open court, and then the punishment will be awarded. This is what we call as the procedure of law, or the process which is laid out in the court. But sometimes the police officers, they do non-judicial killings or extrajudicial killings, which they call as encounter. In that, what happens is that no investigation is done, no inquiry is conducted, no trial is there, no evidence is taken, accused is not heard, victim is not heard, and directly the police officers, under the name of encounter, kill the accused or kill the criminal on the spot. The killing may be justified or may not be justified. There may be many reasons because of which the police people are forced to fire their weapons against the criminal, against the accused. So this is what we call as encounter, and there are so many people who come to me and they ask me, what is the legal provision as far as encounters are concerned, and is it a legal strategy or is it a legal provision? There are high chances that some police officers might use the excuse of encounter to kill the accused or criminal. So I would like to talk about that. In the period between 1995 to 1997, almost 135 criminals were killed in Mumbai under encounter. 99 encounters were conducted, and around 100 to 135 criminals were killed in that particular incident. A writ was filed in the court of in Supreme Court, and the name of the case was PUCL versus the state of Maharashtra. And in that particular case, 16 guidelines have been set out by Supreme Court of India as far as encounter is concerned. The basic thing is that when the accused or when the criminal is there, and if he starts using violent force, if the accused or criminal say starts firing towards the police officers, then police officers are left with no option but to use force. They have to fire in return, and in that particular chaos, there are high chances that the accused or the criminal might get killed. So the police are using their weapons so as to save their own lives. They don't want to kill the accused, they don't want to kill the criminal, but since he is using his force, he is using his weapons, the police officers need to fire in return. That is for their self-defense. If the criminal is not at all using any force, and if he is willing to surrender, then the police officers have got no right to fire weapons, because he is willing to surrender. There is no need to use force. But sometimes there are chances that the police officers might still go further and kill the accused or the criminal. I am not saying that it will happen, but there are chances, and if it happens, then police officers will be held guilty. So the first guideline which has been set by Supreme Court of India as far as encounter killing is concerned is is to record TIFF. How does the police officers come to know that the encounter has happened? They need to show. When they commit encounter, then lots of questions will be asked to the police officers and they have to answer those questions. The first and basic question is that how did you come to know that the criminal is going to come on that particular spot? How did you come to know about that? Where did you get the tip? Was the tip written? Was the tip oral? Was it recorded? Was it through telephone? Was it through mobile? Was it through mail? How did you get it? So they have to show how did they get the information. So when there is an encounter, then they have to show that they got the tip and how did they get it. The second guideline is that immediate FIR has to be registered. When encounter happens and someone is killed, then immediately FIR has to be lodged and the investigation has to be begun and it has to be informed to the court. The police cannot say that we have made the encounter, we are the police, so there is no need to file the FIR. Once the death of the criminal or the accused is committed, FIR has to be registered and everything, the entire encounter needs to be proved. Then who conducts the investigation? FIR has been registered, then investigation has to be done. The investigation cannot be done by the police officers who have made the encounter. It has to be done by an independent body. It may be CID or it may be a special police branch or some different branch of police officers. But it cannot be conducted by the same local police station. It has to be conducted by someone else. The magistrate also can inquire into this matter and he can sumo to take the cognizance also. Information as to the encounter has to be conveyed to the State Human Rights Commission as well as National Human Rights Commission, and they might seek a report regarding that encounter. They might also summon the police officers before them, or they might send the notice to the people who are involved in the encounter. Then there shall not be any delay. FIR has to be lodged immediately, investigation has to be conducted immediately, report has to be sent immediately, Panchanama has to be conducted immediately. Everything needs to be done immediately. There cannot be any delay. The sketch has to be done immediately, the photos have to be taken immediately, the witnesses have to be identified immediately. No delay shall be done as far as encounter is concerned. A report of this has to be sent to the court, and the court has to expeditiously try this particular case. Then prima facie, if it appears that the police have used the provision of encounter in a wrong way, there was no need to make the encounter, the accused or the criminal was ready to surrender, he was not at all using any force, he did not have any weapons, still the police officers went ahead and made the encounter. If this is the prima facie case, then the police officers might be arrested and complaint will be lodged against them and disciplinary action will be taken against them. They will not be promoted, they will not be given any awards, and their services will be temporarily suspended. Once this encounter happens, the police team has to surrender their weapons and the weapons shall be forwarded to the forensic team, because they have to investigate how the gun was fired, how the bullet was fired, what are the weapons that were involved in the killing. So the weapons have to be surrendered by the police officers. The criminal or the accused who has been encountered in this particular encounter, his family members are needed to be informed, and the information as to the encounter will be given to the family members of the criminal. There are so many guidelines which have been set out. The relevant sections are section 299 of IPC, 300 of IPC, section 46 subsection 3 of CRPC. Then many more guidelines are there by the Supreme Court of India. Many more guidelines are there by the National Human Rights Commission. Under Constitution of India, Article 141 is there. So there are so many remedies available for the investigation or for the determination of whether the encounter was right or wrong. We have to find the balance. When the criminal makes any attack towards the police, then the police has got right to fight in return. But the accused or the criminal is ready to surrender, he doesn't have any weapons, still the police officers make the encounter of that accused or criminal, then that is illegal in nature. Firing in self-defense is right, but if there is no need to fire the weapon and if the police officers fire it and make the encounter, the police officers will be held guilty, and there are so many remedies available under various acts of Indian territory which can be used by the family members of the criminal who has been encountered. Balance has to be done. I am not saying that every encounter is illegal in nature. If it is illegal in nature, then obviously the police officer will be punished. But if the encounter is justified, then the police officers will not be punished. Thank you so much.